The following program is a Greenlight Maine production being brought to you in part by Bangor Savings Bank.
It's the way life should be. Greenlight Maine, building Maine's economy. Greenlight Maine, start here, scale here, stay here. It's your Maine and mine, building Maine's economy, one dream at a time. It's the way life should be. Greenlight Maine.
Welcome to the Greenlight Maine season finale. We began with more than 50 companies all doing their part to move Maine forward. We are down to 3 finalists. Today, they're competing for $40,000 cash to invest in their companies. They are savvy, socially responsible, and driving Maine's economy. Before we meet them, we'd like to say hello to our judges, and you may recognize them. They are doing so much for our state. Welcome, Gavin Robinson from Bangor Savings Bank.
I'm Gavin Robinson. I'm the Community Relations Manager at Bangor Savings Bank, and Bangor Savings Bank and myself take entrepreneurship very seriously, and that's why we're proud to support Greenlight Maine and all the work you're doing in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So thank you. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Next up, Carlos Mello from the Finance Authority of Maine.
Hi, I'm Carlos Mello. I'm with FAME. FAME helps families attain higher education, building our workforce, and FAME helps businesses attract capital, building our economy.
And you do so much for our state, along with Bangor Savings Bank. And rounding out our panel is John Karp from Maine Technology Institute. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I serve as an executive in residence with the Maine Technology Institute. I also work part-time with the Maine Manufacturing Extension Partnership and act as a bridge between the two. And just so I don't get bored, I'm also the vice chairman of the Owl's Head Transportation Museum, where we've made a major pivot into STEM education. Check us out at owlshead.org.
Nice pitch, John. And speaking of pitches, it's time for our first company. I'd like to welcome Holly Arbuckle from Singing Pastures.
Thank you for having me, judges. Do you know what is the fastest growing sector of all of snacking? It's not crackers or cookies or even granola bars. It's meat sticks. Now, seen as Slim Jims has been around for almost 100 years. Why now? The answer is it's women who are looking for high quality protein snacking on the go. I'm Holly Arbuckle. I'm the CEO and owner of Singing Pastures, which is a brand that makes premium meat snack sticks out of pasture raised and grass fed meat. I'm also the co-founder of a farm by the same name that is a 9th generation family farm in the Mid-Coast area. Our brand has proven feasibility. We have $2.8 million in lifetime sales. We're nationally distributed. We're in about 400 Sprouts markets, 25 Hannafords, 200 independent stores, as well as Thrive and Misfits Market online. We are excited today to show you the next breakthrough in meat snacking. Our stick is going to be deliciously different, and it's launching this August. Here's why we're different. Number 1, our stick has an innovative new recipe that is made with grass-fed beef bone broth. This is a first-to-market concept. Grass-fed beef bone broth has collagen. Collagen is a hot, trending ingredient that is popular with health-conscious people everywhere. It's good for joints, skin, hair, bones. It's the beauty buzzword on everybody's lips. Number 2, taste. Our sticks taste different because they are slow smoked and fermented for 16 hours. That's twice as long as the leading brands that use liquid smoke, and ours use real hickory wood. Our sticks are tender and juicy, not dry and chewy like a lot of the brands on the market. Number 3, our new recipe is even more protein packed. If you've been paying attention at the grocery store, protein is the number 1 food trend on 2025 across the board. Our new sticks have 10 grams of protein, which is among the highest available on the market, but only 70 calories. So it's 30% fewer calories than the leading brand with the same protein punch. Number 4, our new packaging. We have worked hard to create packaging that is really different. This is the trend that is taking off right now. It's called disruptive illustrative, and it is what we're seeing blow up. It's not macho. Think of like Jack's Links and Old Trapper. That's yesterday. We're looking at the tomorrow. And the future is all about women, especially Gen Z and Millennial, who are looking for high quality protein snacks. If we win, we're going to use the prize money to hire Pulp and Wire, a Maine-based company, to do an innovative, updated, nationally competitive website for us to keep up and help us scale our growth and drive revenue. We are super excited to tap into the meat stick explosion and have Singing Pastures change the snacking game while adding jobs for our local economy. Thank you, I appreciate it, and I hope we make Maine proud.
You just knocked that out of the park. You have already made Maine proud. Okay, Gavin, kick us off.
Certainly. Thanks. That was an excellent pitch.
Thank you.
I'm interested in learning more about you. How did you get into this?
I married a farmer. So I went to Bowdoin. I have a master's in acupuncture. Neither of those things lead you to business, but I've been running our company since 2016. I've figured it out as I have gone along, and most brands fail in the first 2 years, 80%, and we are still going strong, and we're in a round of raising investor money right now and growing.
Thank you.
Carlos.
How are you fighting for shelf space and getting your product in front of consumers in those stores?
So the way grocery works is you go to a sales team, the sales team takes you to those stores. So like for Sprouts, for example, our sales team does the introduction, we pitch to Sprouts. One of the things we really have going for us is this packaging is unlike anything else on the shelf. Grocery has a responsibility to always be looking for the next big thing. If you think about the meat sticks that are out there, this looks so different that it really stands out. And one of my advisors is Deb Lester from Good Old's Mac and Cheese, which is another exploding product. So she helped me to see that this is the direction. So getting into stores is not actually an issue for us. In fact, when we've told our current people that we have this new packaging, they immediately doubled the number of SKUs that they want to carry.
John.
So I'm a manufacturing guy, and I'd like to hear how you handle your production and how you're going to look at scaling.
All snack sticks have to be made at a USDA facility, right? So our facility is not in Maine because there isn't a facility that could do what we want. We need 16-hour fermentation and smoking with really good packaging. So my husband is a farmer. We are part of the supply chain. We source from Maine. We also buy outside of Maine because there isn't enough pasture-raised pork and grass-fed beef in Maine to fill what we need. So in terms of scaling, we're at a facility, we've moved in the last year from a smaller facility to a medium-sized facility that is still expanding. So we're great on capacity, and we're using a professional fulfillment center, and we've also done trucking. So we're good at moving product around the country.
Thank you so much, Holly. Congratulations on making it to the finals and all of your success. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going from the farm to the ocean, and you won't want to miss this, so stick around. Come on over.
Since 1852, Bangor Savings Bank has been helping New Englanders thrive by living our You Matter More promise. We invest in Northern New England because your ideas, your well-being, and your business matter to us. Our commitment is reflected in our caring employees, innovative solutions, and investments in local communities. At Bangor Savings Bank, you are at the heart of everything we do because you matter more.
Welcome back to the Greenlight Maine season finale. Our next company is on the cutting edge in oyster farming. I'd like to welcome Jacqueline Clark from Nor'easter Oyster Company.
Maine is renowned for its pristine waters and premier seafood, caught and harvested by hardworking men and women. Now, Maine may be the land of lobster, but did you know its oyster production has nearly tripled in both volume and in value since 2016? Still, there is so much room for this industry to grow. We are Nor'easter Oyster Company, and our mission is to create new revenue opportunities for Maine sea farmers by purchasing excess oysters that would otherwise go unused and transforming them into premium value-added seafood products. Our team is passionate about all things oysters. My co-owner, Sean Corcoran, has been a commercial oyster farmer for over 10 years, and Sean has experience building and managing several large-scale farms. My name is Jacqueline Clark, and I have been in the seafood industry for over 17 years, with experience in sales and the value-added space. Now, during our time in seafood, Sean and I noticed some successes of the Maine oyster industry, but also some challenges. Farmers have shared that they have excess oysters that have either grown too large or are seemingly not pretty enough to be sold on Maine's competitive half-shell market to raw bars and to restaurants. And these farmers aren't exactly sure what to do with their excess oysters, and they're missing out on revenue opportunities. So we have a solution. We are invested in creating a new sales market for Maine oysters beyond the half shell to help support the growing industry. We are proud to be Southern Maine's first oyster processing facility, where we are able to purchase excess oysters from our fellow sea farmers, shuck them out, and then transform them into products. So we are currently in production on shucked Maine oyster meats, available in both a retail and wholesale food supply format. And then this summer, we'll be releasing 3 new products. We'll have a Maine oyster chowder, we'll have several flavors of smoked oysters, and some pretty inventive tinned oyster creations. We're currently partnered with over 20 farms up and down the coast of Maine, and we are working with several local towns to donate our discarded oyster shells to shoreline stabilization projects. Nor'easter Oyster Company is the first Maine business and the first New England business to enter into the oyster product value added space that is currently valued in the US at over $200 million. And now this space is filled with products from the Gulf, the Chesapeake, and the US is still importing millions more from overseas countries. Maine businesses should be in this space, and we should be dominating it. We've structured our business to grow in volume and in value. This summer, we'll be expanding employment opportunities so that folks with diverse interests and skill sets can find a home as a member of our team. We anticipate that in the next several weeks, our production and volume on our shucked oyster meats will more than triple as restaurants prepare for busy seasonal schedules. And then we are working with the FDA and the Department of Agriculture to finalize our processing approvals for our products. We're proud to be a part of Maine's thriving aquaculture scene. We want to do our part to support our fellow sea farmers and protect those pristine Maine waters in which oysters thrive. Thank you.
Well, you're definitely doing your part, and this is so innovative. I love it. All right, Gavin.
Thanks. My question would be about revenue. You mentioned the USDA question, and I'm curious if where you're at within the sales process right now.
So we're currently in production and selling Maine shucked oyster meats. We have several accounts throughout New England, so we are processing and providing those products to them on a weekly basis, and then we'll be generating additional revenue streams for our other products as we launch them this summer.
Excellent, thanks.
Talk to me about how you're getting distribution out there. How are you building a brand? How are you building your name? How are you getting it in front of people that they want to buy your product?
We have been working with a lot of New England distributors that distribute to large-scale restaurants, food accounts, as well as specialty seafood shops. What we have found is that all of these businesses in New England that are already selling shucked oysters or oyster products, all those products are coming from the Chesapeake. And so folks, when they learn about our business and that we are local and that we are sourcing from farmers they have a personal connection with, they are so excited to be able to buy from us to provide a local option, and knowing that Maine seafood has just such a premium reputation.
John.
So on your website, the process looks quite manual. You're talking about scaling fairly dramatically. Labor's always a problem. How do you plan on addressing that challenge?
So you are correct. Right now the process is manual. That is how a lot of businesses that have shucking businesses operate. Our plan is to scale and to move into a mechanized format. There are pieces of equipment that are available, and it will be a capital purchase down the line, but it is something that we are already in talks with the manufacturers of those pieces of equipment to find out at what volume and at what price point, because we want to scale up. We really want to get that market share in New England, knowing that there is a market and we really, really have the ability to go large scale with this.
Well, some great answers for some great questions. Congratulations on everything, and you are just going to do so well. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a short break. If you care about your water, you're going to want to hear this. We'll be right back from a word from our sponsors. Come on over. That was awesome. Great job. Yes, yes.
I am truly awestruck by the innovation that exists FAME has fundamentally been a part of keeping the business community here resilient and robust.
Our role is to help.
To have people in your corner that will guide you through the whole process is really helpful.
When they say, hey, we believe in this, it's a real boost to confidence.
FAME works for Maine, helping businesses and lenders create a bright economic future.
It's about helping Maine grow.
Welcome back to the Greenlight Maine season finale. We all want safe water. There's a company in Norridgewock that can help with that. I'd like to welcome Katie Richards from Maine Laboratories.
Did you know that right now 37 million Americans rely on drinking water that is already testing higher than the federally regulated limit for PFAS contamination? And that does not count the millions of Americans that rely on drinking water from private wells, unregulated wells that sit on their properties. So you know the number of people being exposed to PFAS contamination is quite a bit higher than that. My name is Katie Richards. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Maine Laboratories, and we're here to help tackle this invisible threat. So PFAS is a really persistent chemical in the environment. It is found in a wide variety of products, and ongoing exposure to PFAS does have serious health risks. 3 years ago, I struggled to find a way to get my water tested for PFAS contamination. And it was through that frustration that really led to the idea of Maine Laboratories. So my husband and myself, we combined our skill sets in chemistry and business to open up the first PFAS testing lab in the state of Maine. We offer quick, speedy results in getting the data back into customers' hands, the highest level of data integrity, and individualized customer service. We will test anything from water to soil to even consumer products like plastics and textiles. We also do agricultural testing for things like milk and eggs and animal tissues and plant tissues. It's not only an environmental problem, it's a very personal issue for customers that want to know if they have PFAS in their water. And so we've set up our website. It's an online portal. Anybody, any homeowner, business person can go online, order a test. We send the sample kit and all the instructions, and they get back to us. And within 10 business days, we give them the data that they need to make very tough choices and important decisions. Beyond just testing, we are committed to providing high-tech, science-based jobs. And so we've recruited 5 full-time employees in Norridgewock, Maine, Central Maine. They live and work there, and so we're having a positive local economic impact. We also have a very robust onboarding program and do on-the-job training so that we can bring employees in, even if they've just recently graduated. We can do that training in-house. We've also worked really hard to build partnerships with researchers across the United States. And the idea is we want to help contribute to answer all of the really important questions around PFAS contamination sources, PFAS remediation, and how PFAS moves within the environment. So we are very honored to be the first PFAS testing lab in Maine. Since 2022, we've had remarkable growth. We have grown as trusted partners in the PFAS testing world industry. We've validated our procedures through being accredited with the Maine Laboratory Accreditation Program. We've achieved national accreditation and are extending our reach for certifications in other states. So we've been certified in New Hampshire, Vermont, Kentucky, Georgia, and most recently, Minnesota. We're in the process of being accredited through the Department of Defense, DoD, and aligned with ISO 17025, which is the highest standard you can have as a lab. I'm really proud of what the state of Maine has done in identifying the scope of contamination in the investigation that they've done so far. With your support, we can help expand our impact and really put the state of Maine on the map as a leader in PFAS testing. It's not just about the data. The data is important, and it is about the data, but it's also about creating a safer and a healthier environment for all of us. Thank you very much.
Excellent. That was such an educational pitch with vitally important work. So Gavin, kick us off.
Thank you. I'm so happy that your business exists, but I'm sorry that there's a need for it. Right. You mentioned that your husband brings the science and you bring the business. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and what you two bring?
you made a great assumption about him being the scientist and I'm the business side. That's why I'm here today and not him. So he has a PhD in analytical chemistry, and he had familiarity with running the LCMS triple quad, which is the piece of equipment that we need to do the analysis to identify the very, very low amount of parts per trillion of PFAS contamination that's required by the regulations. So when I was floating around the idea of opening up the lab, and I said, hey, will you help and give me your science background and help with method development and doing data quality review? And he said, yes, you do what you want, Katie, and I'll help out. Little did he know it would turn into basically another full-time job for him. But he's been a great partner, and I'm really appreciative, and I know I could not have done it without him.
Great, thank you.
Katie, what does the future hold? What is success for you? What are you ascribing to be?
I want to grow. So I'm working on a more aggressive growth plan right now. And that was really the motivation to get the expanded accreditations outside of the state of Maine, because I know that there are other states who are behind where Maine is in understanding and investigating the scope of PFAS contamination. Other states are going to come in the next 5 to 10 years. They're going to have a need for additional PFAS testing, and we want to be able to step in and be able to answer that need. I've already got an expansion going on the second floor. I'm ready to hire 5 more employees. We're ready for the volume to come in.
John.
Well, very interesting business you're in. The regulations are incredibly dynamic. I know Maine came out with a great big sledgehammer on this issue, and that's been walked back working in the manufacturing sector. How are you building in this dynamic regulation scene to your business planning?
Yeah, a dynamic regulation scene is an excellent way to describe the environment right now.
It's the polite way.
I know. I'm very impressed with your wording. I would say, we've got to be prepared to pivot, right? And so I believe you're referencing like product testing, right? And the disclosure of PFAS within products. And that is one element of testing. It's a part of our, when you think of the pie, right? Our revenue that would be coming in. There's also really probably a lot more focus on the environmental testing. And that's where I think the growth is really going to be happening in the near future, and other states that are coming on board, and they're expanding their drinking water requirements to get down to a certain level of under, parts per trillion in PFAS contamination. So we stay abreast of what's happening not only in Maine but across the United States. I think that the PFAS regulation environment will get more complicated without more guidance on the federal level, which I don't know that we'll get more guidance on the federal level. And so companies that are trying to hit regulatory levels will have many different states that they have to answer to. There's going to be more testing that's required so that they can hit all of those state requirements.
Congratulations, Katie. Maine Laboratories, look for it. We need to take a short break. We'll be right back. Come on over.
Congratulations to the newest winners of Greenlight Maine and to all the amazing businesses that competed this season. At Albin, Randall & Bennett, we see you as the future of Maine, creating opportunity and strengthening our business community. Your innovative spirit and limitless determination drive the economic prosperity of our great state. Keep chasing your dreams. Your success is Maine's success.
Welcome back to the Greenlight Maine season finale. We have $40,000 on the line. Our judges are going to deliberate. Let's start with Holly from Singing Pastures because she pitched first.
What I really liked about Holly from Singing Pastures was how well she articulated her market and how her packaging is going to set her apart within that market. And I think she did a strong pitch.
Yeah, I agree. I think she has the opportunity to build a national brand with national reach and national distribution, and so that's a really great opportunity for her and for her company.
Well, I heartily agree with all that. I guess the one thing that makes me hesitate a little bit is the fact that they're doing much of their business outside the state.
Only has 3 employees today in the state of Maine.
Good point. Knows her stuff though, and
absolutely.
Really, like she said, fastest growing snack market, carb-free,
right.
delicious. Yeah, marketed towards women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jacqueline with Nor'easter Oyster Company.
I liked how scalable it was and that it would create jobs for the working waterfront. We also had a conversation about how she could work with farmers to create more crops within the water column. And I thought that was a really interesting proposition.
Yeah, so crucially beneficial to the state from the perspective of providing oyster farmers with an alternative distribution. So really important to the working waterfront, as you said, a critical part of our Maine economy.
I like the fact that she's looking forward to different versions of automation to help with the labor issue that she's going to face like every manufacturer does.
How do you really bring economy to scale to that business? You know, they're still in that fledgling state.
And last but not least, Katie Richards from Maine Laboratories.
I love what Katie's doing in Norwich Walk and the team she's building, bringing in high-tech jobs and PhDs to Maine, purchasing equipment and expanding. I think it's going to be great, and just the work that they're doing is so important for the state.
Right. PFAS is an issue in the state of Maine and nationwide. They're on the front end of ameliorating that challenge, and so it's outstanding that what she's doing, and so there's a mission there. The only concern I have is there's no specific IP or anything that would preclude others from doing what she does.
And both a positive and a negative is the fact that she can mail a test kit out anywhere in the world and it'll come back. But conversely, so can her competitors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good point. Okay, well, thank you so much for this robust discussion. We're getting down to the final moment, so we'll give you a couple more minutes. When we come back, we're going to see how this plays out, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our winners.
Whether you're a small business or a big business, whether you're cutting edge or looking at a traditional industry in a whole new way, whether you're on the coast, in the city, a small town, wherever. If you're an organization here in Maine, if you want to innovate, and if you want to grow, we want to support you. We're the Maine Technology Institute.
Welcome back to the Greenlight Maine season finale. It's time for the big reveal. We had 3 powerhouse women-owned businesses, and we're going to find out how the $40,000 shakes out. All right, judges, for third place and $5,000, the winner is Nor'easter Oyster Company. For second place and $10,000, the winner is Maine Laboratories, and that means for $25,000, the grand prize goes to Holly Arbuckle from Singing Pastures. Well, that's going to do it for season number 10. We're going to be back next week with Elevating Voices, a celebration of diverse business owners. But we would be remiss if we didn't thank our premier sponsor, Bangor Savings Bank, the Finance Authority of Maine, which is the sponsor of the College Series, Thomas College for coordinating the College Series, and Maine Technology Institute, and all of our other sponsors, and all of you at home watching the show. We thank you for your support and have a safe and successful week. Congratulations. Come on over. Awesome job. Great job. Yes.
Greenlight Maine would like to thank our premier partner, Bangor Savings Bank, our corporate partners, and our sponsors. Thank you.